One of the best things about cooking a roast is when you sear it, and then the whole kitchen just smells so good. You can just smell that roast searing. Oh man, that sure does smell good. The nice thing about using these Lodge Dutch oven pots is that you can actually sear your meat for your roast in the same pot that you cook it up in the oven. So we can sear this here to lock in all the juices, and then we can add the rest of our ingredients to the roast, and then we can just bake the whole thing in the oven for a couple hours. So yeah, that's pretty cool. This Dutch oven is pretty nice. This is a really nice pot. So after you sear the roast, you take it out of the pot, and then you put some juices in there and stir it up to get all that flavor and stuff off the bottom of the pan. The juice that we used is we'll use this beef flavored broth. You could also use some beef bouillon cubes if you want, but this can of beef broth works really good. And then you want to put something acidic in there, and this wine does really good.
Just cheap box wine.
Yeah, just a cheap box of wine. You could use a bottle of wine if you have it. Some cooking wine would work too. But yeah, you just pour some of that in there, and then that helps to tenderize the meat and everything while it's cooking. We just set the roast there on a plate while we did all this, and then we'll put it back in there. And then when you get towards the end, if you want, you can add some vegetables and stuff like that. We got some garlic that we're gonna put on there. And then you can also put, like, cut an onion up and put that on the bottom so that the roast isn't sitting directly on the pan. There's a space between the roast and the bottom of the pan. So you cut up some onions and kind of use those as a, I guess, as some feet to hold the roast up. But you can use white onions or red onions. So the sweet white onions work good too. And then we're going to put our roast in there. And then we can put it in the oven and let it cook for a couple hours depending on the size of the roast. You can put your lid on there, but remember it is hot because we were searing that roast in there. So you want to get out some oven mitts and then put it in your oven.
Dirty oven.
And we just set it for a couple hours there. Our temperature is 300 degrees, and then we'll check on it. All right, now we just gotta wait a couple hours and then we can check on the roast. It's a 2-pound roast, so they say about an hour per pound at 300 degrees. All right, the timer went off. Let's open it up and take a look at it. That's what it looks like in there. I think the best thing to do here is just to take a little bite of it and see how tender it is. It should break off with a fork, and so it might not quite be ready yet. Doesn't quite want to break apart with a fork. So maybe we'll go another half hour. Seems like it needs a little bit more. I'm not going to break off a piece and take a bite because it doesn't want to come apart. So we'll give it a little bit longer. All right, it's been another 30 minutes. Let's check it out and see how it looks. It looks great and smells great, but let's see how tender it is. Yeah, you can break it off with a fork. That's good. All right, let's see how it tastes. Be careful, it's hot. Oh yeah. That's perfect. We're gonna go ahead and take it out of the oven and let it rest for a little while. Maybe we'll let it sit in the pot another 30 minutes just cooling, and then it'll be ready to eat. That sure is good. Looks great, it smells great. Let's see how tender it is. Yeah, you can break it off with a fork, that's good.